Hello, hello, friends. And I'm Rachel Weaver. And today I'm so excited. I have Simone on the podcast, and I cannot wait to share all the knowledge or I can't wait for her to share all the knowledge that she has. And first, I want to do a little introduction of her. Simone is a 4-6 sacral generator with a cross of tension, and which is gate 39 for the sun. And it's actually very similar to my design. I'm also a Sun Gate 39. And we're going to dive into this. And what Simone has to share is so indicative of what her human design is, which I think is awesome and why I'm so excited about this. But here's Simone's bio a little bit. She's a certified PR consultant and a visibility strategist. She's a publicity rock star and bestselling author. She teaches coaches and consultants how to get featured in prestigious magazines and podcast shows so they can get seen, heard, and highly paid without wasting time on social media. Give me a hell yes on that one. The beauty about her approach is that she follows her publicity rockstar method, and her clients get all that they need to build for an impactful brand: visibility, authority, credibility, and trust. Yes, yes, yes. Simone, I'm so excited for you to be here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to hear more about my human design. I don't know anything about it.
Well, we can definitely start there. I mean, generators, it's about a process. So the fact that you're coming on here to tell us what your process is for helping people understand PR and get PR without feeling overwhelmed is like, that's what you do. Like that, the fact that you've honed this process is very generator. So you're living your design. I love it.
All right. Okay. That's good to know. And I love what I do, right? I mean, that's my purpose, like really make PR accessible for coaches and consultants, and giving especially women, but generally purpose-driven coaches and consultants a voice. And make them visible and amplify their message. I really love that.
How did you come to this place in this process? How did it come about and feel like your purpose work?
Okay, wow, this is going to be a little bit of a longer answer. So, I mean, first of all, my background is in PR and journalism. I studied PR and journalism. I have now more than 20 years of experience in the media and PR world. And I used to work as a PR manager, PR consultant for like really big companies, like Fortune 500 companies. But I didn't start with that when I started my entrepreneurial journey, right? So I'm an entrepreneur since 2014. But basically, how it started is in May 2012, my ex left me after a 10 years relationship, completely out of the blue. His new partner moved in with him 4 weeks later. They got married.
No.
And I was devastated.
Yeah.
And it took me a good 2 years to get back on my feet. And after, like, in these 2 years, I got on my spiritual path, right? And I really discovered the topic of self-love and what it actually means. And I found out what I really lacked of, and I fixed it, right? So, I mean, it's a lifelong process, but I overcame my heartache. And then I started my own business. I wanted to help other women to overcome heartache and breakups, divorce much faster than I did. And I started my business in August 2014. And I did what all the marketing gurus told me to do, right? Have a blog, have a podcast, do social media, like networking events, do webinars, do funnels, do ads. And I did all these things, and I was so exhausted. Like after 6 months, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I went back to the drawing board and basically to my roots, right, where I came from, which is, journalism and PR. And I said, okay, I'm just going to make this work for me, right? So I know this, I'm an expert in this, so let's try. So as I said, I came from a corporate background, and in corporate, you send press releases. So I sent press releases, and I was like, super excited, and I will hear back from the journalists, and I will get myself out there. And I had crickets, and I was like, wow, okay, this is really exhausting. And but I knew what's possible when you get yourself out there in the media. Back then I started with media, and then, podcasts came a little bit later. So I knew what is possible when you get yourself into the media. And I tried different things and basically came up with actually sending an individual email, an individual pitch with a specific structure to a
Yep.
journalist and to offer something of value just to that person instead of like sending a press release to 100 to
Yeah.
300 journalists, like that's like throwing spaghetti to the wall.
Hmm.
Um, and I did that and it worked. And I built a pretty successful coaching business. I created an advertising value of more than 3 million euro just within 18
What?
months.
That's
I built a
awesome.
website with more than 100,000 monthly readers, like all organic traffic. I got a book deal from that, wrote a best-selling book, and basically, um, my program sold out and was almost always fully booked.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so but then I was living as a digital nomad, stupid word, um, and for 3 years, and I connected with a lot of entrepreneurs while I was traveling, and they were like, "How did you get featured in Cosmopolitan? How did you get yourself into
Mhm.
InStyle?" And for me, that was second nature by then, right? I mean, that
Yeah.
was my background, and I figured out how to do it. And then in 2018, I was like, "Oh yeah, probably can start some side hustle." And that side hustle quickly turned into my full-time business because there was like quite a lot of people who wanted to learn how to do this.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, then I stopped with my divorce and breakup coaching business, and I went all in on the PR business, and I love it. So it's so amazing because I meet so many people also when I traveled, but also
Yeah.
now so many amazing entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants who have really a gift to help their client, but they don't know how to get visible. They don't know
Yeah.
how to reach them.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you get yourself out there in the media, and I focus on magazines then, on digital magazines
Mhm.
and podcasts. And it's just amazing because you utilize or you tap into the audience of somebody else. And
Mhm.
you take an audience that is already built and build your own audience from that. So
Yeah.
that's basically
Yeah.
pretty
It
awesome.
What I love about this whole idea of PR and podcast guesting and things like that, instead of the social media, creating reels and TikToks, like that doesn't excite me. I try. I
Mm.
create it every now and then, but it really doesn't, it feels like it's being forced. And we all know that, especially when you start working with energy, that anything that you're forcing and feeling like that angsty energy behind, it's
It doesn't
not,
work.
it doesn't work. You end up just burning yourself out, right?
Mhm.
So I love the idea that this is a little bit more behind the scenes kind of advertising and getting yourself visible, because I mean, social media is just, it's out there. You have to put all of yourself out there, where
Mhm.
this strategy is you're just the expert and you're giving your advice. You don't have to be like, have your whole self out there in the world, right?
Yeah.
Unless you
And
want
it,
it to be.
yeah. And I mean, as you said in the introduction, the beauty about really is you get visible, you build your
Mhm.
authority, like you really become well known, you build credibility and trust.
Yeah.
And trust is one of the most important aspects that you need to earn,
Yeah.
especially as a coaching consultant, before somebody buys, right? So
Mhm.
the coaching and consulting market, I mean, it's super flooded. There are so many people who really got burned by coaches, really
Yep.
ripped off. Happened
Yep.
happened to me myself.
Yep.
And so the trust factor becomes more and more important. And it just is we don't want that consciously, but subconsciously, if somebody reads, she was featured in Forbes, she was featured in Marie Claire, in Cosmopolitan, whatever. It's just that people subconsciously connect that with authority and with, oh, I can
Mm.
trust that person because the media only interviews experts and the media only,
Yeah.
um, works with trusted people, which isn't
Yeah.
always the case, right? I mean, everything, like the main thing that you need to have in place is a good story.
Yeah.
And that's what matters for the media. For the rest, it's not really relevant, right? I mean,
What makes a good story for like in the eyes of the media?
mhm. Well, a good story is when it evokes emotions, right? So
Mhm.
you have to relate, needs to be memorable. And
Mhm.
one of the most important factors, it needs to be timely and relevant. So there needs to be a reason why the
Yeah.
journalist has to write about it. And there are like plenty of
Mm.
ways how to make a story timely. But that is a very crucial factor, because if you have if you can make an evergreen topic timely as well. I mean, I coach
Yeah.
about heartbreak and divorce. That's an evergreen topic, but you need to find some angle
Yeah.
that is relevant now and that convinces the journalist to pick it up now and not 3 months down the road or next year. So that is
That's
basically.
fascinating. I mean, I feel like I talk a lot about that with clients too, about making things timely. So, like life coaching doesn't necessarily push someone to buy now, right? Like there has to be a pushover, right? For them to be like, I'm
Mhm.
ready for change. I'm ready for this, right? And kind of the same thing of like of pitching to journalists of like, this
Mhm.
is now. This is really important right now.
Yeah,
And
you have
here's
to
what it's
create
costing.
urgency, right? And I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the
Hmm.
day, doing PR is pretty much sales, right?
Yeah.
You sell yourself, or you're like not yourself, but you sell your story.
Yeah.
You have something to offer, and you want them to pick it up, right? And it's the same when you try to sell your
Mm-hmm.
services. You talk to a prospect, and you mention all the benefits and how it can transform their lives and
Hmm.
everything. And it's you do the same thing with journalists. And I also think that this is something that is why PR often is challenging for especially coaches and consultants, because and especially for women, because a lot of women also are not good in sales, because
Yeah.
they are scared to sell, and to say like, hey, look, this is me and I'm awesome and you should work with me. It's like, hey, look at me, I am awesome and you should actually write about me, right? This is
Yep.
not how like don't talk like this to a journalist, because this will just kick you out of the game. But that's basically bottom line what you want to say, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's the energy you wanna come in with of like, "Look, I know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm talking about, and I wanna
Mm.
share it with other people." Oh, okay, let's talk about your process. What is this beautiful process that you have?
Okay. So it's called Publicity Rockstar method. So publicity rocks. I mean, rocks for me, everything is about rock and heavy metal. That's like my most favorite music. So I figured I just implement this and
Love it.
integrate this in my brand. So everything is called Publicity Rockstar. So it's also my Publicity Rockstar training, and now I talk about Publicity Rockstar method, which has
Love it.
basically 6 steps. So imagine a star, right?
Mhm.
And in the middle of the star, you have your rockstar offer. Now, the rockstar offer stands for the fact that you need to understand your ideal client. You
Mhm.
need to understand what you want to be known for, because
Mhm.
otherwise you can't come up with stories.
Yep.
And you need to have something in place that you want to sell, right? Because once we bring new people through the door, we also can sell them something, right?
Mhm.
This is not the first goal of PR, obviously. But once they come into our world and they get to know us, you know, it's
Mhm.
cool when you have something in place to sell. Okay, so that is the first step. Then the next step is the audience. And the audience stands for finding the right media outlet and the journalist who's writing about what you talk about.
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
then in the case of the podcast, finding the podcast shows and the podcast host.
Mhm.
So that is step number one.
'Kay.
Once you have your media or your podcast list, you want to move to the next step, which is called the hit. The hit stands for grabbing the attention. So a
Mm.
journalist is interested in stories, in your expertise, or in strong opinions, like strong. So,
Yes.
for example, I pitched a lot why everybody should suffer from heartache at least once in their life, right? So this
Mhm.
is a strong opinion. This is something that makes you read twice. This is we don't want to suffer from heartache. So, just as an example. So now this is for the journalist. If you want to reach out to a podcast host most of the time talk about your brand story and your
Mhm.
expertise, a combination of both, right? So what do
'Kay.
we just do? I
Yep.
talked about who am I, what's my story, and now I give you advice or I share my knowledge, right? So this is
Yep.
and so you need to come up with that.
'Kay.
Once you have that, it's time for the stage, and the stage stands for pitch. So you need to write an appealing pitch. And the most important thing, it doesn't matter if it's journalist or podcast host, you need to build rapport and you need to write a single email. Like, as I said in the beginning, do not send press releases. They don't work,
Yep.
except if you're a household name. Like if you're Match.com, awesome. Right. So, yeah. So now let's assume you have a yes. Like
Okay.
you send it out, you got a yes, then it's time for the performance. And the performance stands for either handing in your guest article if you pitched yourself as a contributor, or to do your interview if you pitched yourself as a featured expert,
Mm-hmm.
or do your interview for the podcast interview, right? So
Mm-hmm.
prepare that and
Yep.
do that. So you have that. Everything is live, everything is published. Then it's time for the sixth step. That's the last step, the step that most people get wrong, which is the promotion. And the promotion stands for leveraging your media coverage for clients, cash, and reputation.
Ooh.
And that's basically, how to use your media coverage to actually get clients through the door. And what most people do is they post it once on social media, maybe twice, and that's it. But there are so many more ways how you can use it to actually get more clients. And this is what I teach my clients.
Oh, that's so good. I feel like, I mean, we could go into so many things. First, the top three of understanding who you're talking to, your ideal client, what your message is, what you want to be known for, and knowing your story. That is like copy 101. That is understanding. Like, if you don't know those three things, it's going to be really hard to have clients. It's going to be really hard to sell. You're going to feel it, and then it just spirals into not really believing in yourself, right? That's where I see a lot of, especially beginner entrepreneurs. The more seasoned one, I feel like they have those three, right? And then they go and they pitch, they have their story, they can do those things. And then I myself am 100% guilty of that last one, of only putting it out there once or twice and not actually like doing the due diligence to share this. Like, I'm 100% guilty of that. I co-wrote a book last year and I think I shared it a few times. And then that was it, right? Like, I don't, I'm 100% guilty of that. So I love that you're saying that, like, this is really important to
But that,
getting it out there.
and I mean, that's again, like a problem what a lot of women have, like, like a lot of women identified people, right? So,
Yeah.
it's really, we don't want to annoy people, right? We don't want to say like, hey, look, this is me. I'm so cool. I'm so awesome. I did this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I posted, maybe I do it in 2 weeks again, but then everybody has seen it. It's like, people know, and like, I don't want to, what if somebody has seen it twice and now they would see it a third time? Like, oh dear, right? Well, maybe they should see it a third time to actually finally schedule a call, right?
Yeah.
So, and just quickly coming back to the ideal client and the messaging. So there is a reason why I don't say PR, right? So I talked about PR, and people, they are just so scared of PR because it's so abstract in their head. And I did a lot of research. I talked to so many people to come up with, I help you to get featured in prestigious magazines and podcast shows. This is what people understand. Because what do people want? They want to, they want to be featured in Forbes. They want to go like to Business Insider and like Cosmopolitan. And I mean, I always come up with the same things because that's all the ones that people want to be in. And podcast shows, right? So when I reached out, when I talked about PR, people was like, I don't want to be in the newspaper. I can't be on TV because and I'm like, okay, this is not what I do. Right? Or like very often, and I still hear this, is like, I'm not ready for PR. I'm not big enough. I don't have a social media enough. I know I'm not an expert enough. And this is all not needed. And since I changed my messaging to, I help you to get featured in prestigious magazines and podcast shows, people are like, oh, actually, I was thinking about that. Maybe we should talk. Right. So, but this is really about how impactful a copy is. And I was also frustrated because I was like, this is not what I do. I always talk about the details, but people only hear PR and it's like, no, this is not for me. Right.
One word can truly change everything. Yeah.
Yes,
When it comes to
absolutely.
messaging. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is also why I always tell people when you're like not good in messaging, like hire somebody, hire a
Hmm.
copywriter, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, there are people out there like you, who they are just good in doing that, and we can't everybody like we can't be good at everything. This is what I want to say. So
And
yeah,
honestly, when you're in your business, you have blinders on. You can't see
yes,
what other people can see. So having someone with an outside perspective can really shed light on and like, look, this is how the message is being perceived
mm,
and and absorbed, whatever. Um
yeah.
you know, oh, this is so good.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what I find as well is that like a lot of people don't want to do the work because to actually
Yes.
find out what copy works, you need to talk to ideal client and you need
Yeah.
to understand
Yeah.
their language and
Yeah.
use their language. And if
Yeah.
you don't do that, and I'm guilty of that as well. In the beginning, I mean, I was like, everybody knows what PR is, everybody knows how good that is, and everybody knows that they need it. And I was like, I'm just smarter than everybody else. And then, it didn't work. So I really had to actually do the
Yeah.
market research and it just changed everything.
Yeah, it's the difference between y- niche language, right, in coaching
Mm,
industry. If you talk about certain things all the time, versus meeting people where they're at and really understanding
mhm.
how they see the problem. How are they talking about the
Yeah.
problem? Yeah. Oh, so good. Love
Mhm.
it. What do you feel like is something that most entrepreneurs don't realize is costing them when it comes to getting publicity, getting featured on podcasts and things like that? What if like they're going after trying to do it and they don't realize that they're doing this thing that's actually like basically sabotaging the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, sending press releases, it's one thing.
Yeah.
So I know, I mean, there are a lot of providers out there who tell you, hey, for just $2,000, I will send you a press release and you will be featured there and there and there. And basically, the only thing that they do is they write a press release, which is pretty easy if you learn that. And they will send it over a wire, which will cost them $100, $200 max. And then the
Yeah.
press release will be picked up from like affiliate sites. And then they will tell you you've been featured there. This is not a feature. If you send a press release,
Mm.
and you can actually the press release will be just taken over one by one to an affiliate page, then
Mhm.
you haven't been actually featured, right? So being
Uh,
featured actually means that you
yeah.
talk to somebody or you handed in a guest article or whatever. So this is really one thing that I see a lot. Um, and for the rest is cold pitching. Like so, as I said in the beginning, like my website for my divorce and breakup coaching business used to have it, doesn't have it anymore. More than 100,000 monthly readers. I think I dropped down to 20,000 because I don't do anything with it anymore.
Yeah.
But I still get pitching because it's still 20,000 people per month who read my
Yeah.
website, right? So
It's a
there are still
lot.
people who
Yeah.
want to be on there. It's just like the amount of times that people say, hi, Sabine, hi, Sandra. I was just like, I think like you type in my email address and it says Simone, right? So like, that's just really the basics. Or just saying, hi there, hi, coach, or nothing at all.
Oh
And
gosh.
then or the, like, just
Yeah.
where they copy paste everything
Yeah.
from another email, you can see like, okay, this is not how my company is called. And like basically, yeah, pretty much cold pitching, like not building rapport, not actually saying who they are, what they want to
Mm.
write about,
Mhm.
why they want to write about, why they want to write on my website. And I mean, the newest thing since a couple of months is the website is in German language.
Mhm.
And I get pitches from American or English speaking people asking me if they can publish a post on that website. And so I sometimes for fun, I answer them. I was like, okay, like you wanna like what's the topic and what language do you want to write? And it's like they have never looked at my website.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Wow.
when I have a really good day, then I send them the link to book a call and I say, okay, if you want to learn how to actually really send a good pitch, just book a call and we can talk about it. So
I'll pitch you my service. I love it.
yeah, but like sometimes I just can't do anything else. It's
Ah,
just I look at it and it really
it
hurts,
hurts.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what would you recommend someone that wants to get on a, say, a more prestigious podcasts. So not a beginner. Like I feel like mine is obviously very beginner. I just started in
Mhm.
February. It's not hard to get on my podcast.
Mhm.
I love having guests on, right? Um, but someone that is, say, they've had their podcast for a few years, they get pitched all the time. How do you approach someone like that?
And warm pitches, meaning not only connect with them in the email and building rapport in the email, connect with them before on their social media
Mm.
platform. So if they
Mhm.
are on Instagram or if they are on LinkedIn, follow them, like their content, engage, and really be active that they have
Yeah.
seen your name before. So that when your
Mm.
email comes into their inbox, it's not for them like, oh, this is a stranger, but it's like, wait up,
Yeah.
I've seen this name before. So,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
come in there and then you say like, hey, so and so, I followed you on Instagram quite some time. I really love your content, especially this and that stood out to me. So that being
Mhm.
said, I actually thought I have something valuable to share with for your audience, like right, come
Mhm.
from a place of adding value. And
Yeah.
that's also a common mistake. People want to promote themselves, but this is not how it works. You
Yeah.
have to come in to add value. And this is how people will discover you, right? It's not like,
Mm.
hey, this is my program, right? So anyway, um, so
Yeah.
yeah, then you connect with them. You just
Yeah.
show them that you are sincerely interested. And
Yeah.
the bigger the podcast is, the longer you should do this. So if you do this for a week, then you're just one of like I don't know how many thousands, depends on how big
Yeah.
the podcast is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you, for example, go for the gold digger, I mean, Jenna has like I don't know more than 1 million followers
Oh
on
gosh.
Instagram.
Yeah.
But like she will not recognize you at all if you do this
No.
for a week. If you do this
Yeah.
for a couple of months, then she will, right? So this
Yeah.
is also why I always recommend to make a plan and also
Mm.
to start with smaller podcasts, like do the low hanging fruits, get on there.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because you always reach people. It doesn't matter how big the podcast is, right? Even if a
Mhm.
podcast just launched, it
Yeah.
stays online, right? And when
Yeah.
people Google your name, the episode comes up, and that's always great. And you always get you also get experience with it. And while you're being on this smaller podcast, you can actually, comment on Instagram for the big podcast that you want to be on.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
one day, um, you can pitch them. And then,
Yeah.
it's not said that you get on there, of course, but, it's always like you have to follow up. It's what they say in sales. It's like the money is in the follow up, the features is in the follow up as well. So
Mm.
again, we're back at sales. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think honestly, being on smaller podcasts helps you refine your own message, refine your story, find your confidence in speaking and being able
Yes.
to talk with someone and have a normal conversation.
Yeah, I mean, if you start with a podcast with like, I don't know, a million monthly
Oh,
listeners, this is like you would sit there like, I need to breathe.
deer in the
I need to breathe.
headlights.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, oh
yeah.
my God.
So I mean, if you have
Yeah.
never done this before, I mean, I remember like my first Facebook Live. Wow, this was like many years ago now, but for my first Facebook Live, it was a paid Facebook group. So people already
Oh,
paid
wow.
me. They wanted to work with me, but still, I was super nervous and I was living in Colombia back then. And I rented a super fancy hotel room so that I had a fancy background and I,
Love
I,
it.
I was sure it was
I
quiet.
love it.
And still, I couldn't sleep the night before. And I think there were like
Mhm.
35 people who paid me, right? And I
Yep.
was like, oh, okay, it will be fine. And now now I just get on the call and I'm like, oh, okay, it's recorded. It's going to be a podcast and it will
Yeah.
air. That's awesome. Like
Yeah.
last night, I was on a live show. That's still exciting also to me because life
Yeah.
is life, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. So yeah, I love it. And I mean, I've been on live TV. That was super nerve wracking. Anyway.
Yeah. That would be super nerve-wracking. Um, I have one more question.
Sure.
How do you feel like how does the trust built through PR opportunities and podcast opportunities? How do you feel like the trust is built faster through that versus being on Reels and TikTok and sharing
Mm.
what you ate for breakfast. What do you feel like
Well,
is such a big difference?
well, I mean, on social media, it's you saying I am awesome, right? And if
Mhm.
it's the media or a podcast, it's somebody else that says you're awesome. It's a third party endorsement. And with the media, with top tier media outlets, it's basically a third party endorsement of the endorsed, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the big difference. And you can
Oh,
say
that's
on
so good.
Instagram or like on social media, you can say anything about yourself. Also on ads, right? You
Yeah.
can say like, "Hey, look, this is me. I am amazing, and I achieved this and that." And yeah, most of
Yeah.
the time you're not recognized. But when you say,
Yeah.
when the media says like, "Look, she really knows what she's talking about," then they are
Mhm.
like, "Oh wow, the media
Mhm.
said that," right?
Mhm.
So not I'm not
Mhm.
saying that we always need to trust the media. Actually, we shouldn't. But I haven't said that. So, but it's just how it works. Subconsciously,
Yeah.
it still is how it works.
That is 100% how people feel, and it's even more powerful, I think, than testimonials because
Mhm.
testimonials, they're they're good, right?
Yeah, of
It'll
course.
help tip over the iceberg of someone if they're on the fence
Mm.
potentially, but they're not going to inspire someone to buy if they weren't ready to buy before, right? It's
True. And the thing with testimonials is also you can still fake them, right? And I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
my advantage is that I like with my testimonials, I link them up and like my clients, they say I was featured in and that then came with me. But
Oh, nice.
if you are a life coach or something that you don't have a tangible or a less tangible result, like how
Yeah.
would you say this? You can make up any testimonial, and I mean you
Mhm.
can just I
Yeah.
mean if you're super bad, you can just download a stock photo or whatever, and just not
Yeah.
using real people. So that's also that unfortunately also
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, the media, it's they exist for such a long time, and they have their trust, and they are respected.
Mhm.
And if you get in there, then you take over that
Yeah.
respect.
And I love what you said about it. It's the third party saying that you
Hmm.
have something of value, and not just you saying that. So I love it. Love it. All right. I know you have a freebie and I know everybody wants to connect. So tell us all the good things.
Yeah. So, well, to connect with me, you should find me on LinkedIn. So that is my main social media platform where I'm always at and where you can easily connect with me. Other than that, I have a website, of course, which is simonesauter.com. And on the website, you also find a lead magnet or a freebie, which is my 10 insider tips on how to get publicity for your coaching and consulting business.
Which is
So
an
that's
awesome.
the
I downloaded it before and it's really good. It's really good. We'll put all of that in the show notes so you could just click it. Thank you so much, Simone. I so appreciate you coming on the show and sharing all of your knowledge. You are an incredible human.
Thank you so much. And thanks also for having me. It was a great conversation. I love it.
Thank you.